guys, ETA99 here, and welcome to today's video in which I'm going to be predicting several aspects of what is going to happen at the 2018 FIFA World Cup in Russia. So the first thing I want to predict is the Golden Boot Award, which is the person who scored the most goals throughout the entire tournament. And my prediction, it is going to be one Antoine Griezmann from France. Bit of a weird aspect because you've got players like Mohamed Salah, Gabriel Jesus, players that have absolutely destroyed it in the Premier League, and I'm predicting Antoine Griezmann. I believe because of the French team that has been selected, he is set as their main sole striker, and I believe with this, he's going to absolutely murk teams in Group C. Like teams like Denmark, Peru and Australia. I hate to regret myself, me being Australian, but it could happen, and I believe it will happen. So there is my prediction for Golden Boot player, Antoine Griezmann. So my next prediction is the Golden Glove, which is given to Goalkeeper of the Year. And I'm kind of stuck at this. I believe it'll be set between two keepers. Hugo Lloris from France and David De Gea from Spain. Hugo Lloris and David De Gea are probably when they're playing for their country, the best goalkeepers on the planet. I know people are going to say Manuel Neuer obviously deserves a shout, but it really all depends in terms of this and the Golden Boot Award of how far these teams go in the World Cup. And as we all seen in Premier League, David De Gea has proved himself to be arguably the best Premier League goalkeeper, if not the best keeper in the world. Controversial may be, but I believe he is. So that is why it's a bit split for the Golden Glove. But let's move on to the next category. The next category is a bit of an unorthodox one. It is the first red card. And in my opinion, the very first red card will be dished out in the match between Spain and Portugal in their group. Which obviously, if you've done the research on the match, it would make complete sense because they both hate each other. And I believe there's obviously some still bitter hate towards Sergio Ramos after the whole Champions League final incident with Mohamed Salah. So I believe, I don't know, maybe some Portuguese are going to be cutting for his ankles, I don't know. But I'm just saying this match does tend to get very violent. So that is my prediction of when the first red card will be dished out. So my next prediction is the surprise country, or the dark horse, as I should have said instead of surprise country, because surprise country is literally the worst name to call it. But the dark horse in my prediction is going to be from two teams, Uruguay and Nigeria. Both teams really kind of cruised into the World Cup. They didn't really have much opposition in terms of qualifying. So I believe, and they haven't been really that rated. I mean, obviously Nigeria had that 2-1 match against England in one of the friendlies, but no one I think is really rating them. They rate their kits, but they don't rate the players. And in my opinion, I think Nigeria could get to the quarterfinals, and same as Uruguay. Uruguay have obviously got Luis Suarez, Cavani, and everyone's just looking like, nah. They're not Brazil and Argentina, I don't think they will. But in my prediction, I think they'll cause some upsets. So my next prediction is the flop country. Which country has been bigged up saying they're going to do damage at this World Cup and then just crumble into a pile of shit? And in my opinion, I know this sounds rich coming from an Australian, but I believe England will flop. The reason why behind my consensus is, yes, they've got good enough players, but the squad, I don't have real much trust in all the squad players that they've selected. So my prediction, I believe in the future, I believe they will make the final, 2022, 2026, most likely, because of their youth system. Last year, their under-17s won the World Cup. So I believe in about 4 or 8 more years, I definitely could see them making the final, if not winning the whole thing. So they can always stop bragging about 1966. They can also brag about this new title. But it's just, I don't think it's time. I would genuinely not be surprised if England bottle it, because I think that group's got Denmark, Panama and Tunisia. And England may override Tunisia and Panama. So I know I've probably pissed off a lot of English people, but I'm sorry. That is just my prediction. My next prediction is kind of of how my home country, Australia, will go at this World Cup. We're in Group C, meaning we have to face the opponents of France, Denmark and Peru. It really depends on the first match. Our first match is against France. It depends on how we play that match. If we get absolutely hammered, there's no hope for us. I know France are like miles ahead of Australia. Like, Australia is like down the floor, while France is in the atmosphere in terms of comparison. But it really depends on how they play in that first match. If they can get a draw or even win, it'll be called as like the biggest shock in World Cup history. And I am not fucking kidding. And also, and France did also have that 1-1 draw with America. I think one of the French players said Australia is better than America, which is true because we did qualify for the World Cup, even though our road was the longest. But Denmark, if Denmark are in the same situation as Australia, they can, if they do well against like France and all that and get points against Peru, I think Denmark could get up into the knockout stages as well. But all really depends on how they play against France. And now for my final prediction. Who is winning the World Cup? Will it be Messi for Argentina? Will it be Brazil? Will it be Germany doing it twice in a row? I don't think it'll be either of them. I believe France will win the World Cup. They have got probably the biggest potential of squad, and as seen from the Le Bleu coach, I have seen that he hasn't gone for he has gone for big names, but not majority. Like, if you look at the players that have been left out, Anthony Martial, Lacazette, Rabiot, a lot of players have been left out for France, meaning they're going for talent instead of big names. Because there's a lot of people that are like under the ages of 21 who I'd never heard of, and then researched them and seen they've got a lot of potential. So age clearly does not matter to the French management for this team, and that is why I have the sole confidence that they'll win the World Cup. So those are all my predictions for the World Cup. Join me, because I'll be doing a live stream for the first match of the World Cup, Saudi Arabia versus Russia. Hopefully see you there. Thank you for watching.